can a single moment in time echo for 80 years, its lessons growing louder with each passing day? For the city of Hiroshima, that moment arrived at 8:15 in the morning on August 6, 1945. It was a clear, bright summer morning, filled with the ordinary sounds of a city waking up. People were on their way to work, children were playing outside, and life was proceeding as it always had. No one could have possibly imagined that in a blinding flash, their world and the entire course of human history was about to be irrevocably altered by a force of unimaginable destruction never before seen on this planet. In that single instant, an atomic bomb detonated above the city, unleashing a destructive power that honestly just defies simple description. The blast created a fireball as hot as the sun, vaporizing everything and everyone near its center. A shockwave traveling faster than the speed of sound, flattened buildings for miles in every direction, turning homes, schools and hospitals into rubble. The intense heat started fires that merged into a massive firestorm, consuming what little remained of the wooden city. For those who survived the initial blast, a terrifying new reality began, one marked by injuries, loss and an invisible poison, radiation, that would continue to cause suffering for decades to come. The immediate aftermath was a scene of pure devastation. The vibrant city was reduced to a barren, smoldering wasteland. Tens of thousands of people lost their lives instantly, and many more would perish in the hours, days, and weeks that followed from horrific burns and radiation sickness. Families were torn apart, with survivors desperately searching for loved ones amidst the ruins, often finding nothing but sorrow. The rivers, once a source of life, were filled with those seeking relief from the unbearable heat and pain. This was not just an act of war, it was the dawn of the nuclear age, a profound warning to all of humanity about our capacity for self-destruction. 80 years later, we gather not to dwell only on the horror, but to remember and to learn. Remembering Hiroshima is a solemn duty we owe to the victims and the survivors. It is a promise to never forget the catastrophic human cost of nuclear weapons. By looking back at the ashes of 1945, we find the strongest reason to look forward with a shared commitment to peace. The ruins of that day have become the foundation upon which we build our hope for a different kind of future, one where no city ever has to endure what Hiroshima experienced. It is a lesson written in pain, but one that guides us toward a better world. Why must we continue to tell this story? Especially now, the answer lies with the Hibakusha, the brave survivors of the atomic bombing. For decades, they have been the living embodiment of this history, the most powerful witnesses to the realities of nuclear war. They have carried the physical and emotional scars of that day, reliving their trauma so that the world might understand. Their personal testimonies are not just stories of suffering, they are profound appeals for peace, delivered with a courage that is honestly hard to comprehend. They transformed their personal tragedies into a universal message for all of humanity, urging us to ensure that their experience is never repeated anywhere on Earth. Today, the urgency of their message is greater than ever because their voices are beginning to fade. This year, for the first time, the number of registered Hibakusha across Japan has fallen below 100,000. Their average age is now over 86 years old. With each passing year, we lose more of these precious storytellers, these direct links to the past. Soon, we will live in a world without any first-hand witnesses to the atomic bombings. This creates a solemn responsibility for all of us. We must become the custodians of their memories and the amplifiers of their calls for peace, ensuring their words continue to resonate long after they are gone. The mission of the younger generation, as described by one of our young peace representatives, is to inherit these stories and carry them forward. It is not enough to simply read about the bombing in a history book. We must listen to the recorded testimonies, visit the memorials, and internalize the human cost behind the historical facts. We must understand the fear of the black rain, the pain of losing a parent or a child in an instant, and the lifelong struggle with illness and discrimination. Their experiences must become a part of our own conscience, a moral compass that guides our actions and our demands for a safer world. Passing on this legacy is our most important defense against forgetting. When we forget the human consequences of nuclear weapons, we risk becoming complacent about the dangers they still pose. The Hibakusha have taught us that true peace is not merely the absence of war, but the active creation of a world built on empathy, dialogue, and mutual respect. Their fading voices are a call to action, reminding us that the fight for a nuclear-free world is a race against time, and it is a race we must win for the sake of all future generations who deserve to live without this existential fear. On this 80th anniversary, the world has turned its eyes to Hiroshima. Today, at the Peace Memorial Park, a solemn ceremony took place under the summer sun, a powerful symbol of global solidarity. A record-breaking number of representatives from 120 countries and regions gathered to pay their respects, including, for the first time, delegations from Palestine and Taiwan. This unprecedented attendance sends a clear and powerful message. The memory of Hiroshima and its call for peace belong not just to Japan, but to the entire international community. It shows a growing global consensus that the threat of nuclear weapons is a shared problem that requires a united, global solution. At the heart of the ceremony, the mayor of Hiroshima, Kazumi Matsui, delivered a moving peace declaration. He spoke directly to the world's leaders, urging them to abandon the flawed logic of nuclear deterrence, which only perpetuates fear and mistrust. Instead, he called for them to immediately begin discussions to build a new system of international security, one that is founded on trust and achieved through patient, sincere dialogue. His words echoed the deepest wishes of the Hibakusha, who have always advocated for talking over fighting, for understanding over conflict. The mayor's plea was a reminder that real strength lies not in weapons, but in our shared humanity. The Prime Minister of Japan, Shigeru Ishiba, also took the stage, reaffirming the nation's commitment to its three non-nuclear principles of not possessing, producing, or permitting the introduction of nuclear weapons. List chunking: not possessing, producing, or permitting the introduction of nuclear weapons. While his speech upheld Japan's long-standing policy, it also highlighted the complex political realities we face. The path to a nuclear-free world is filled with challenges, and progress requires unwavering commitment from all nations, especially those that possess these weapons. The presence of so many world representatives in Hiroshima offers a glimmer of hope that more leaders are willing to engage in this critical conversation and take meaningful steps toward disarmament. But perhaps the most poignant moment of the ceremony came from the youngest voices. Chieri Sekiguchi, a sixth-grade student, stood before the world and delivered the Children's Peace Pledge. With simple, heartfelt words, she spoke of the responsibility her generation feels to carry the torch passed on by the survivors. List chunking, she pledged to learn from the past, to share the stories of what happened here, and to work together to build a future of peace and friendship. Her powerful promise, delivered with the innocence and hope of a child, touched the hearts of everyone present, reminding us all what is truly at stake. The story of Hiroshima is ultimately a story of resilience and hope. From the ashes of 1945, a new city was born, a city dedicated not to vengeance, but to peace. The skeletal remains of the atomic bomb dome stand not as a monument to death, but as a powerful symbol of survival and a constant prayer for a world free from nuclear arms. Every paper crane folded and offered at the Children's Peace Monument carries this same wish. This city has transformed its deepest wound into its greatest gift to the world, a timeless reminder that we must choose a different path forward, one based on compassion and cooperation. As we mark this 80th anniversary, we must ask ourselves what our role is in this story. The lessons of Hiroshima are not meant to be confined to a single day of remembrance. They are meant to be a part of our daily lives, influencing how we treat one another and how we engage with the world. The call for a world without nuclear weapons is not a distant, idealistic dream. It is a practical necessity for the survival of our species. It requires active participation from all of us, in our communities, in our schools, and in our demands to our governments. Peace is not a spectator sport. It is a collective effort we must all join. The children of Hiroshima have made their pledge, and now we must make ours. We must promise to listen to the stories of the survivors and ensure they are never forgotten. We must promise to teach the next generation about the catastrophic consequences of hatred and conflict. We must promise to support leaders who champion dialogue and diplomacy over threats and violence. and we must promise to never lose hope, even when the path to peace seems long and difficult. Our commitment to these promises is the most meaningful tribute we can pay to the 76,000 people who perished on that day and the countless others who suffered in the years that followed. Let the ringing of the peace bell in Hiroshima today echo in our hearts throughout the year. Let it be a sound that awakens our conscience and strengthens our resolve. The past cannot be changed, but the future is still unwritten. By learning from the profound tragedy of Hiroshima, we can find the wisdom and the courage to build a world where no one ever again has to experience the horror of a nuclear dawn. Let us work together, hand in hand, across all borders and all differences, to make this vision of lasting peace our shared reality for all time.